Thank you for stopping by. I am Jeffrey Weiss, your political activist, keeping you informed of local and world events. Today we discussed the diseased mind of John Bolton. John Bolton has been called a war hawk and is an advocate for regime change in Iran and North Korea, and repeatedly called for the termination of the Iran deal. He was a supporter of the Iraq War and continues to support his decision against overwhelming evidence that the rationales for the war were totally fabricated. The war was not justified, ill-thought, and unnecessary, where 6,000 young men have already died. He has continuously supported military action and regime change in Syria. That, after all the others failed, and led to more deaths, more destruction, more chaos, and more ruin. A Republican, his political views have been described as American nationalist, conservative, and neoconservative. Bolton rejected the last term and called himself pro-American instead. Bolton attended Yale University, earning a BA. He then attended Yale Law School, where he shared classes with his friend, degenerate Clarence Thomas. In 1972, Bolton was a summer intern for Vice President Spiro Agnew, a lying, thieving, disgusting piece of dirt who served as a role model for Bolton. He joined the National Guard as a way to avoid service in the Vietnam War. He trained for 18 weeks at Fort Polk, Louisiana. After serving in the National Guard for 4 years, he served in the U.S. Army Reserve until the end of his enlistment 2 years later. He wrote in his EL 25th reunion book, "I confess I had no desire to die in Southeast Asia, Asian rice paddy. I considered the war in Vietnam already lost." In an interview, Bolton discussed his comments in the reunion book, explaining that he decided to avoid service in Vietnam because by the time I was to graduate in 1970, it was clear to me that opponents of the Vietnam War had made it certain we could not prevail, and that I had no great interest in going there to have Teddy Kennedy give it back to the people I might die to take it away from. So, what you see is a very typical pattern for a gutless sociopath. Make others fight for a cause only he believes is justified. Allow young boys to die because he must be proven right in his thinking. He wants to send young boys to their death 10,000 miles from home while he sits in an air-conditioned office surrounded by bodyguards. To die in the same kind of war he rationalized not fighting in and dying for. Does anyone see anything wrong with this picture? He is a gutless, two-faced hypocrite who, if he wants war with other countries, should pick up a goddamn rifle and be the first to go in and show faith and confidence in his distorted, inhumane, self-serving, perverted agenda. If my articles interest you, please use the link to check out my website and books. Thank you very much.